Hello. So yeah, just once again, another random and spontaneous video. No plan, no script. Yet words seem to flow. From this unknown existence. A thought's just popped up here. And it's undeniable that it's not my thought. It's been seen clearly here now that any thoughts that arise there's no owner. There's no owner, or there's no thinker. There's no ego, character, or self that thought belongs to. But I was saying a thought just popped up. I was wondering, you watching this, how many people watching this or that have an interest in this unknown existence. How many people just sit in silence? I mean, there's no doer. So, this is not a teaching or advice, or I'm not saying that you could actually choose to sit in silence or not. But it's just interesting because here, I love it. I'm in the story, I'm quite a busy person. If you've watched the videos, you'll know I've got a wife and children, a busy career, and got all the stuff going on that a family man does, a husband and a father, all that stuff going on. I'm at work now, working from home. I feel quite fortunate that, having my own business, I can just stop and click record and make these videos. Although there's no one doing that, and you haven't chose to watch this video either. But yeah, that thought just popped up then out of nowhere, and I was just wondering, just to sit in silence and just seeing, hearing, not knowing. There's no past or future here. There's no one here. And, you know, what actually is happening, you know, in direct sensory experience, if we can use them words, you know, what is actually happening right now? I don't want to say there's fuck all happening, because something's happening, but it's not what you think is happening. I mean, what you think is happening, you could say that that's fuck all, because it's not actually happening. Is it? So what's actually happening is unknown. And that's it. Nobody knows what this is. So if you are new to this channel or to my videos, then what I'm referring to or pointing to is, you know, that feeling that something's here, that something just is. You know, a presence, an aliveness. These are all words, by the way. You know, nothing can actually, no word can get close to what this is. How could that be even possible? It's unknown. So yeah, if you've been around spirituality circles or non-duality videos, people call it consciousness, awareness. There's so many words for it. God. I shake my head at the word God because it's got so many images attached to it, as of all words, really. So yeah, I'm just making videos. I don't know why these videos are happening, and there's no reason. But yeah, there just seems to be, this body just seems to want to talk about this, and the realization that there actually isn't anyone here. That self character, that me character that you believe that you are, isn't there. Sorry, I can hear my cat trying to do it. Sorry about that. I've got the house to myself, so when the kids are at school, my wife, she's visiting her mum today, so I've got the house to myself, but the cat, sometimes a bit of a, I don't want to say a distraction at work, but she is sometimes. She's been on a few business Zoom calls. So there's this unknown beingness that seems to be here, that nobody knows what this is, and that's what I'm kind of talking about now. So there is no self, and it seems that one of the biggest traps in, I'd say, spirituality is the belief that you are this unknown existence. So that awareness that's here can sometimes, the me character can grasp onto that and claim that awareness is me. But in direct seeing, this awareness, this existence, it has no owner. Sorry. So there's probably lots of people watching these videos, and it could be you, and you really feel like you've got a life. When I say you've got a life, you know, you were born as a baby, and you grew up into a little girl or boy, and then you believed the name that was given to you. And that you've got a story of the past. And what's being shared here is a direct threat to you, because what's being shared here is that you don't exist, and you never have. And it's really obvious, because, you know, going back to the start of the video, if you can, you know, sit in silence and in your sensory experience, you cannot find that character that you believe that you are. It just isn't there. It's never been there. So I'm not talking about the body. I mean, the body seems to appear, but that me character, that person you believe you are with your name, where is that? So this is what I mean about I've said it in loads of the videos, the self claims to be something that it isn't. It claims to be this solid entity. It claims to be a real thing. But it's not here, and it never was. That's how powerful the imagination is. I don't want to say there's anything wrong with, believing in that story, in that me character. Because there's no one to choose to believe in that character or not. It's just what's happening. But that belief in that me character, in your imagined story of the past, at what point did that me character first appear? Was it 1 second after you were born? After you came out of your mother's womb, was a me character? Did it burst into life then? How would the newborn baby know anything about a self? It's amazing though how these humans, the human bodies, it seems like we're the only kind of species that has this ability to believe in an imagined self. It seems to be around the age of 1.5, 2.5. Where the imagination really does kick in. Let me tell you, I've got a 4-year-old boy, and again, this is a story appearing now in this, but I pretty much watched my youngest son develop a me character. And that's what happens. It seems to happen with, it's just the way society is, and there's no right or wrong with it. There's no one doing any of this. There's no one running this show. There's no one in the bodies. There's no self. There's no doer. There's no you, me, them, or others. Even neuroscience, quantum physics, confirms that there's no me character inside a body. But the belief, the imagination, the thoughts and the ideas are so powerful, they make the dream seem real. They make the illusion seem very real. But yeah, my 4-year-old, his imagination is it's wild. He loves dressing up. This is interesting. He dresses up as characters that he's seen on television. So his wardrobe. I think he's got Spider-Man. He's got Batman. The the highway rat. His latest one's Mario. I'd love to show you a picture, but yeah, he's been dressing up as Mario lately with his red hat and his moustache and his overalls on. And you know, when he's in character, he really believes he's that character. Think about that. But when he's not dressing up, he really believes he's a 4-year-old boy with a name, and he has a mum and a dad and a brother, his nana, granddad. And you know, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing at fault there. You know, there's no one. It's wonderful. I think it's important to say it's wonderful because often with non-duality videos, it can be seen as like doom and gloom or a bit nihilistic, and you know that's not the message, because what is actually being shared here is that this unknown aliveness that's here, it seems to be filtered through these body-mind organisms, through conditioning, and it seems to allow separation. And I think that needs to be honoured, because again, that's just what's happening. There's no one in control of it. That's just what's happening. And if it wasn't that way, then how would this appear? You know, it's been seen here through glimpses, multiple awakenings, and no self-realizations. If you've had glimpses, you'll know what I mean. You know, on an absolute level, you know, ultimately, there is no one here and there's nothing here. And it seems that you or seekers want to see the truth. They want to see what's behind the curtain. They want to lift the veil and see the void. But it's unknown. So this unknown existence, you know, I've had people email me or leave comments, you know, saying, you know, is it inside the body? I mean, the body is an appearance within this. So this is everything, but it's not housed inside the body. or even inside the brain. It's so obvious that there is no you. There's actually not even a body. There's just this unknown existence, this aliveness. Yet it can appear as separation, as billions of people in an imagined world. There's no control at all. It's all imagined. It's a complete illusion. That really pissed me off. You know, the me character is I don't want to sound harsh, but it's like a seeking parasite. It can't stay here. That's why I said at the beginning of the video, you know, I was wondering how many people can actually sit with your sensory experience for what would seem a relatively long time, you know, without feeling uncomfortable. Or I shouldn't say that, maybe being comfortable with being uncomfortable. Because this is not what you want. This is not what the me character wants. I mentioned on the last video, the me character is time. So there's no time here. So the me character is time. So that's what I say, if you can sit in this, the me character actually can't be here. It's not here. It's never been there. The me characters is just the past and the future. Imagined past and future. And it becomes really, really clear and obvious that your thoughts are not yours. So the me character claims authority of thoughts. You know, I decided to do that, or I chose to do that, or I'm going to do this. But, you know, if you watch closely, or not that you can watch, but, you know, if it's seen clearly that thoughts do just arise by themselves, you know, by this unknown existence, you know, it's really obvious that you did not choose that thought. It's like the next thought that arises, you cannot choose it. But this is how arrogant the me is. It will claim authority of that thought and say, yes, I did choose it. But there's no doer. There is no self inside the body. It's just a thought that arises in this. It's got no value. So there's no thinker, there's no self behind a thought. And when that's seen clearly, there's no identification or belief with the thought anymore. So you don't have to do anything with it. But doing may happen, but it won't be you doing it. Not sure this is making sense, but again, thank you so much for, you know, people that do resonate, because, you know, often I sit here and I feel like I'm rambling on. But it, you know, it seems that people are resonating, and you know, the 6 months I've been making the videos now, and I never have a plan or script to what I'm going to say, so I'm sure some of the videos are better than others. So the seeking is the obstacle. The seeking is, I don't want to say it's a problem, but if you're seeking, you miss this. You miss the only thing that exists, this unknown existence. You know, whether that's a spiritual seeker, or it could be anything. You know, a conspiracy seeker, a truth seeker, seeking money, fame, power, love, seeking anything. Seeking is the same parasitic energy. But seeking assumes that something's missing. The seeker, or the me character, believes there's more to this. It believes that something else can be found. It believes that there's another this, but there's only this. There's no time. You know, as soon as any flicker of seeking appears, it's separation from this. But there's no seeker. There's no one searching. There's actually no you already. There's no one here. That's the dream. That's the illusion. That's the trick. That's the joke. Like, what's here right now, you know, this unknown beingness, nothing can be added to it or taken away from it. And it causes suffering as well. I said I was a seeker for decades, you know, spiritual seeking, religious seeking, conspiracy seeking, business goal seeking, self-improvement seeking. And all you're doing is you're just wanting this to be other than it is. It's just instant suffering. You know, I think I mentioned on some of my other videos, you know, the curiosity can kill a cat. And, you know, this personality here is quite upset. say, an addictive personality with curiosity. And it seems like the stories and the paths that you can go down, they are fucking endless. Endless, you know. And the thing is, it never gets you anywhere. You only end up with this timelessness. So all the stories, all the imagined stories, you know, I think I mentioned I went down a conspiracy theories rabbit holes, all of them, you know, about the history of the world and Europa. I've watched the Europa, I've watched all the fall of the Cabal, been down the old buildings and Tartarian Empire stuff, and spiritual paths as well. And it's just an endless loop of searching. It never stop. It'll never stop. As long as you're identified with that me character, it can never stop, because the me character is the search. But there is no me character, and there's nothing to search. There's nothing to find. And then that's the peace. So the peace is in the not knowing. So you, the me character, wants to know. That's suffering. Because it's seeking, it's trying to find something that's not here, but there's only this. But there's nothing you can do. There's no control. That's why, you know, I never give any advice or tips on, you know, it's not even an achievement, you know, it's just a recognition of what is already. But I mean, I would love to, you know, make a video with a technique of how the me character can be seen for what it is. But you can't, isn't it? It's just how it is. That's why I know this is going to be a bit disappointing as well. I mean, really, this video is futile. You know, if you're watching this trying to get something, that's the trap. It's done already. There's no authority. There's no hierarchy. No one's got something that you want. So if you're watching this video and you think that I've done something or I've got something, and you want that, that is an illusion. That is an imagined story. That's not what's being shared here at all. Krishnamurti was probably the most accurate at saying, don't listen to anyone. Again, kind of a teaching. There's no one to even choose that. That's how far it goes, really. If the seeking can stop, then it is game over. That's I mentioned it in the last video. That's like that was the final hurdle here. Again, that's just not a rule. That's not a rule, or there's no process or certain way. I'm sure there's lots of people have had this realization where that wasn't the case. I don't know, but here the seeking was the last thing to stop, and then that's game over then. And there's a massive peace in that, and it's the peace in the unknown. It's because there's nothing to know. Like, there's nothing to find, there's nothing to know. It's like if you're watching this and you're thinking or imagining what life would be like for you if you had a no self-realization. I mean, that's just top of the league for seeking, isn't it? What would you imagine that to be like? It's completely it's just the ordinariness of what is. But what I would say is the belief in being that me character, that just falls away. There's no identification or belief in the thoughts that arise. But anything can happen. I mentioned on some of my videos recently the lack of motivation. Seems to have returned, to be honest. I seem a bit more motivated lately, but it's just what's happening, you know. So whatever happens now it seems to be it's okay, you know. Not really bothered. You know, it sounds bad that, but this doesn't mind what happens, because it's just what's happening. It can't be any other way. But suffering comes from the belief or believing in the thought that this could be another way. You know, there's nothing wrong, there's nothing right. Because them two, they are beliefs. And if you've been watching non-duality videos, you may have realised, or you probably will soon realise, that a lot of the same things are said. quite repetitive, because it is really quite simple. There's only what is appearing to be happening. That's it. There's nothing else exists anywhere else. And when it's realized that there is no self, then it's instantly realized there's no self in any other bodies. So there's less, there seems to be less getting triggered. I was in a coffee shop yesterday in town, and some woman just completely jumped the queue in front of me. And in the past I would get triggered by that, and but she didn't actually do that. This is how far it can go. There's an understanding that there is no one doing anything. And people can't accept this, and I get it. This can trigger people as well, because people can't accept that. People can't handle that. The me character can't understand that. It's like an experiential thing. So, I mean, you might understand that from an intelligence level, but not quite experience it. I mean, also, if I would have said to the woman, "What the fuck are you doing? I was here before you. Get out of my way," then that would have been what's happening also. So there's no right or wrong. So there's less judgment, less blame. In fact, the other week I was in my local gym, and I mean, I like to do running outdoors, but when the weather's a bit rubbish, sometimes I'll do the running on a treadmill, and it was really quiet. And this row of treadmills, there must have been about 8 treadmills in a row, and it was just me on the treadmill. So there's me on the treadmill, the other 7 were free, they were empty. And someone walked into the gym and they used the treadmill that was right next to mine. I'm not saying there's anything right or wrong with that. It's up to them what treadmill they want to use. But it's just an example that would have pissed me off in the past. But again, there's no one doing anything. It's just what's happening. Same in business. If I'm working on a deal, on a business deal, and it falls through, it's just what's happening. There's no attachments to any outcome. Less suffering. It is what it is. There's only what's appearing to be happening. You can't do anything about it. There's no control. No one here. And maybe that's why it's called liberation. If anything, there's liberation from that, I think. I don't know. So there is I would say, a profound relaxation in the realization that life is living itself. You know, breathing just happening by itself, bodies moving around by themselves. Everyone, there's no one running the show. Movie, empty puppet show. It sounds harsh, that, doesn't it? I think it's, you know, I do want to say as well that, you know, just because it's been seen here that the me character is just an imagined story, and it's not actually here, it never was. You know, thoughts of the me character can still arise. That's absolutely okay. There's just no belief in it anymore. It's just so obvious that even a memory of something that happened 5 years ago, you know, if that memory pops up, I mean, who chose that memory to pop up? It just arises from this for no reason. You know, and even now, I mean, I'd say, you know, I had a full clear scene of this, what, nine months ago in the story, or whatever it was. And, you know, even now, I still can't, every now and again, I can't believe it myself. You know, I'm surrounded, I mean, I'm in society, and it can feel isolated, very strange and weird at times. I mentioned it, having conversations with members of the public or friends or family or work colleagues about their stories and what's going on in their lives. It's hard work sometimes. There's no one to talk to about this, but it's just what's happening. You know, it's kind of got used to it now. Again, this is a story appearing now, but at first it was really difficult. If you've watched my earlier videos, I mean, I was shell shocked, to say the least. But then, it's always only ever been this. But now it's with less resistance, less struggle. Because it seems like most stress and struggle and suffering comes from the identification with that imagined self. And again, it can still arise here, but there's no belief in it anymore. Because it's just a thought. You know, that self-character that you might believe you are can only ever exist as a thought. It's not here. That thing that you need to do or you're worried about, it's not here. It's just a thought arising now in this. That thing that you did 15 years ago, it's just a thought arising now in this. Didn't actually happen. nothing's actually happening. So again, going back to the start of this video, how many people sit in silence? Just like this video recording, 56 minutes now? It's gone. It just, this video arose from nothing and it'll disappear back into nothing. It's only ever this timelessness. This is birth and death. So any imagination of birth being in the past and death being in the future is false. It's completely imagined. Birth can only happen in this. Death can only happen in this. This is timeless. Like the words I've just spoke there, they're gone. So it's constant. It's like simultaneously birth and death. So you really don't have to do anything, but you think you do. The me character thinks it does. But if you can just see that the body functions and does by itself without a doer, without a controller. And it's an obvious fact. It's so undeniable when it's seen. But yeah, thank you for watching again. As always, it's much appreciated. Take care.